Hello, and welcome to the TOROSIETE Museum of Contemporary Art. Today, we're inside Chris Butler's exhibition, The Long Journey. Chris Butler from Charlottesville, Virginia, has been creating various forms of art for over 26 years, as a musician, photographer, and even comic illustrator. But over time, as his life has brought with it new influences and experiences, his latest passion is abstract expressionistic paintings. Though mostly abstract, and with a rawness and emotion that his technique invokes, Chris's works have a clear moodiness and theme. When asked about the central theme of his exhibition, Chris says, "The long journey represents several aspects of my life and the progression of my artwork, and the progression of what it has taken for me to get to this point, and also includes the continued journey ahead. These works for me reflect the human experience from conception to death and whatever comes after." Let's take a look at a few of Chris Butler's works. This work, titled Within the Universe, is one of the more defined works from this collection. Here we see what appears to be a figure in bold indigo, sitting in a lotus position, but they have their back to us. For Chris, this work is about how he sees our connection to the universe. Chris says, "I think of a universe within us, while we are within an even greater universe. I view it as a living thing just like we are living things. We as humans are as much a part of the greater universe as the stars. We are just an extension of it. It's almost as if we are here just to observe ourselves." But the seated figure here represents humankind's connection to the universe. The next work, Left Behind, is a great example of how Chris is able to show so much expression and emotion in his figures. Here we see a simple silhouette of a figure, but because of Chris's use of color, or lack of, and how he shades in the figure using lots of medium and black paint applied with both brush and palette knife, he creates a figure that almost appears skeletal, but not in the traditional sense. It is as if Chris is trying to show us the emotions inside of his figures without being overt with his subject matter. Somehow, his forms express emotions while remaining abstractions. It also allows the viewer to see their own patterns and shapes in the work. In this piece, as an example, it almost looks like the figure has tracks over it. This, of course, is open to your own interpretation. In this work, Crestfallen, another somewhat figurative work, we see the figure is sitting, legs bent and head bowed in deep contemplative state. Again, we can highlight how Chris's technique of using thick strokes and palette knife applied lines of black and contours of blue shape the figure. Here's a quote about this work from one of Chris's collectors. Experience the exhibit, The Long Journey by Chris Butler in the TOROSIETE Museum of Contemporary Art. Shop for original works and fine art prints in our museum gallery store.